has been more competitive recently. Where did you feel like you saw maybe some slippage tonight?
To be honest, just the level of physicality from the beginning wasn't what we look at as what we are. Period. Like that's we talked about it after the game. It's like, listen, this is the first time in a second that the product that you guys that we were putting out there just wasn't there. I mean, that obviously starts with me always. So making sure, a little bit of prosperity, and we came in and just we weren't grabbing, holding, controlling. The level of physicality wasn't to the level that we draw a line in the sand and say this is what it's going to be. Yeah.
Obviously, Bron and Luka, phenomenal players that are able to pick things apart. What were you seeing? You mentioned your shell defense before the game and that help side, and how they were dissecting that.
I mean, there's only a few players in the league that can make a cross-court pass on time, on target, on a rope, and both of them are on the same team. Coming out in Black and Luka and getting the ball out of his hands in the beginning, I thought that we pressed up a few times when the ball got in the pocket too high as opposed to letting that big come to you, and all of a sudden they were making plays. But just our level of and our sense of urgency, the ability to have multiple efforts, it wasn't at the level that it's been at, period. So regardless of Luka, regardless of LeBron, all those different things, because on tape, we see teams play against them doing very similar things, not exactly the way we do it, but it's better than what we put out there on the court tonight, and we just have to make sure that we bounce back versus the Clippers with a high level of energy, effort, and intensity, physicality. All those things just has to be at a higher level for 48 minutes.
I know you're talking a lot about the defense, and that obviously being the emphasis, but Max on the offensive side, 16, I believe 10 boards, shot 80%. What has his development been like from your perspective on the offensive side? Some young players, maybe 4 shots here and there, but he's been pretty efficient and been putting up some numbers.
One thing that I like about Max is his poise. Like he catches the ball in the pocket, and I thought early he wasn't exactly sure. He's playing with Hall of Famers and DeMar and Russ and different things, and I think he was a little like, what do I do with it? And all of a sudden he found this little push shot. He's aggressive. When he's open and he has time, he shoots the three-pointer, which I'm totally okay with. But then I think you're starting to see him pump fake, put it on the floor. He did it tonight, gets inside and shoots a nice little floater. And then he has playmaking ability. So I think that adds to his poise as well, because as he's dribbling, he's surveying, which a lot of big guys don't do. But just his poise more than anything. I think that allows him, like when you catch in there, guys are swinging at you and all types. Sometimes it can rush you, speed you up. And I don't think he allows people to do that. With the level of physicality, listen, that's going to happen for all rookies as he continues to develop. So watching him, his base gets stronger, his footwork gets better. He already has the touch. A lot to be excited about with Max.
Doug, you talked about seeing LeBron and Luka do things that only they can do. I know watching them do this stuff is nothing new to anybody, but do you ever stop marveling just at the gifts and the talents that are there?
Yeah, I mean, the special players, man. First of all, their size to be able to see over a lot of defenses. Then they've experienced so many different things throughout their paths that, whether it's doubles from the top, doubles from the baseline, doubles as you come across half court, unders, overs, solos where you just run out of the corner and hit them, that they're dissecting the game at a really, really high level. That's why the level of physicality with them has to be there to where, because if Luka or LeBron are handling the ball and they're surveying the situation, that puts you at a disadvantage. But if Luka and LeBron are handling the ball and they're dealing with the defender first, and then surveying the situation, it helps you out. Like, that's not going to stop them, but it's another layer to your defense that you have to have. So they have to feel you, make them feel us immediately, pick up points super high, and then the back end has to pull over, and then you make them make the most difficult pass, which is usually that far one to the corner. You got to have high hands, and if they make that pass, we close out, and if they make those shots, you shake their hand and tell them good game.
How much do you feel like your guys' turnovers tonight contributed to those defensive struggles?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our defense actually is bad offense sometimes, whether we're shooting bad shots, whether we're turning the ball over, live ball turnovers, they're getting downhill, and all of a sudden they're getting out in the open court. So that definitely helps. I think most times when you see something like this, you look at the turnovers and you go, 19 turnovers, 23 points. In my opinion, that's a lot of the game right there, because if we shoot good shots, if we take care of the basketball, even in the open court, 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s, we can't allow those opportunities to get away. Like, sometimes guys gonna make a play, totally understand, but most times you drive that ball till they stop you. Once they stop you, you drop it to your teammate. Just simple fundamental basketball. And we had been doing it, and we no panic. We just got to come back and make sure good shoot around, come into the Clipper game with a good game plan, and make sure that the effort of intensity and competitiveness is our standard of Kings basketball. And that was it, spotty and unacceptable. And like I said, that always starts here.
How much of that lack of physicality you're talking about is what you saw in that second quarter? Was that a message at halftime, and you see those, I guess, maybe didn't play out with those quick timeouts in the third quarter?
Yeah. You always want to be the coach that's watching a coach call a timeout at the beginning of the third. We talked about it, but it just wasn't there for whatever reason. And that's number one. Before you get into the X's and O's, before you get into what plays to run, before you get into what coverages to play on the defensive end, there has to be a level of physicality that makes your opposition uncomfortable. Once that happens, now we go to the next layer of things before we even get to all the other stuff. And the game plan was the game plan, but you throw the game plan out the window until you get the level of competitiveness that you're looking for.
Max's offense there. Defensively, it seems like we're seeing him in a lot of different coverages.
Yeah.
How much is that you get in a feeling process for what's the most optimal thing, and how have you seen him respond to that?
In that's a tough one with him and Dylan. I feel, because you got to experiment. You do it in practice, but practice is one thing. In the game, like, can we read, which is switching 1 through 5, which will put him in a position where we want to see if he can move his feet. Can he stay in front and just like keep the ball in front of you? If the guy shoots a 3, make sure that you contest it without fouling, and then we rebound the basketball. He showed the ability to do that. So sometimes we trust him in that. I think Dylan is very good. A lot of the guards that he switches out on, I think he moves his feet, contests. So with both of those guys, as they continue to understand angles, they get better with their base and their fundamentals, it'll turn our defense into another layer, meaning that we can switch, keep the ball in front of us, and be in the gaps and make teams settle for shots that they don't want to shoot, as opposed to the big pins down. Now the guard's trailing, big's not there, they're getting in the paint, big's rolling. It's just a domino effect that if Dylan and Max can switch out, like I think that they can, it helps us mightily.